Welcome back. It has been a long awaited time for this podcast. We've gotten a lot of messages. What's going on with Mutant in the Mouth? What's going on, Mutant in the Mouth?
It's been a long, long time.
It is. So I guess we'll start from last time. So let's roll it back a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about your New York Pro victory. 2-time.
Let's talk about it,
Let's talk about sex, baby.
baby.
So to give everybody update, obviously everybody knows Nick won the New York Pro. Martin came in second, looked absolutely incredible, peeled out of his mind. And there was some discussion on what some people thought. Some people thought it was the best Nick Walker that they've seen. Some people thought you were a little off. You got critiqued obviously a little bit before the New York Pro the week before guest posing at Pittsburgh. People thought that you were watery and too full and bloated and this and that. And I don't think people understand what actually 1 week does prior to a show. So go into, rolling into Pittsburgh and then kind of what your and Matt's plan was going into New York and what you guys were really trying to focus in the package you guys were trying to bring to that stage.
I mean, look, we were a week out, right? So it's like we didn't want to like peak for a guest posing. I understand it's the Pittsburgh Pro. It's you get asked to go to that one, but knowing like we didn't want to do anything crazy that could possibly jeopardize the following week. Now I know like my stomach was a little extended. Is that something I could have controlled better? Yeah, for sure. But what people don't know is that I was having issues going into that guest posing and even going into New York. Now we've figured out the problem and now it's fixed, and you can just kind of tell by the photos that I post recently, like my waist. You could even tell more so at the guest posing than I did for Steve. Me being up around almost 10 pounds now, but my waist at his guest posing looks significantly tighter than even at New York, pretty much.
You posted updates today that were just honestly, I thought they were
Oh, you saw them?
Unless it was
I literally just posted them like 2 hours ago.
I don't know what my computer is doing. I'm trying to pull them up. Let me get out of this. I might, you know what I might end up doing? I might end up upgrading this computer and just putting the newer laptop in here. This laptop is from 2012. It's the first MacBook I ever got, and it's just fucking slow.
Bro, that's over 10 years old.
I know, but it's still fucking rocking and rolling. But clearly, it's not rocking and rolling the way it should.
I don't think it's rocking and rolling. It's rocking and slowing.
Rocking and slowing.
Slowing.
We're fucking broke over here. People think that every time you step on stage, you're going to look show ready, and they don't understand. And the hardest part about it is the week before the show is the most sensitive, and you have to be very careful. And I don't even think people realize, like, you guest pose in New York, like a normal guest posing when you're not dieting, you can turn around and say, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat until after the guest posing, or like you're still on your plan. So whereas you're guest posing with probably 3 or 4 meals in your stomach, that wouldn't be like that the day of a prejudging show. And there's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. But like I looked at this today. I thought this was one of them before your show. I thought this was like one of this. I mean, bro, this is incredible, Nick.
This was like 3 hours ago, literally after I got done training.
You actually look better here than you did at the guest posing.
Yeah.
I mean, you look incredible, dude. I was blown away by this.
My weight's higher here than it is at the guest posing too.
And this shot, I mean, this is. I used to be a huge fan of the hands on hip, most muscular. I mean, dude, you look absolutely fucking nails here, nails. Absolutely incredible, bro.
We're what 4 weeks now post show, and
yep.
We obviously been letting the body chill. We've come off pretty much everything. Obviously still dieting. I was able to eat a frequent amount of meals out with the family and stuff.
Yep.
And I just kicked up the training intensity, as of last week. So we're about to go full throttle, I believe, next week or so, and that'll be like 16 weeks out. So,
which, I mean, Christ, you look 3 weeks.
I know.
Like you look 3 days out in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're on a roll. I mean, my body. I always make sure I execute the rebound phase as best as possible,
Yep.
while also trying to enjoy food. When I go out with the family, not even to eat like shit, right? But just for once, because like my family,
Some
like if we need
normalcy.
like, well, they don't care if I bring a meal out. They just want me to come out. But
Yeah.
sometimes, after a show, I want to also just be able to enjoy a meal and not bring a container if I don't necessarily have to sometimes. That doesn't mean eat like a dickhead,
Yep.
but like, get a quality meal, but it's just not out of a fucking container.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that, a good amount of times in these 4 weeks.
It
Um,
shows, dude. You're somebody that when after a show, you really know how to handle the food. Fuck what I do.
yeah, I mean, I did like it's funny because like normally like the night after a show, or I'll be honest, like the night after, I go fucking in like
yeah,
hard.
so do I.
But this New York, like I really didn't. Like we went to the diner that everyone went
Yep.
to, and I literally got like a chicken club sandwich and with French fries, and I got like it was like a small Oreo pie.
Yep.
And then like that was really then we had breakfast. I mean, I ate, didn't really go crazy. I had like one or two clean meals in between. And then, we went to the Cheesecake Factory later that
Yep.
night. And then that was really it, man. And my weight went up like 4 or 5 pounds. And then I was on diet for like 3 to 4 days. It went back down those 4 pounds. And then honestly, what I kept doing a lot, I didn't really go out to dinner too much. I actually, me and my mom or me and my dad, we or both, I took them to breakfasts a lot. I'm a breakfast guy over
Yep.
any
So am I.
meal.
Yep.
So a lot majority of my meals out were breakfast, and I
Yep.
made them clean, obviously, but I just ate a little extra. If what I mean, like I'm a big toast and jelly guy. Everyone knows that, so I would
So
get
good.
like
A little butter on the toast.
yeah, I'd get like 3 or 4 orders of rye bread and put a shit ton of jelly on it, and there you go. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like that's my thing. Of course, I got
Yeah.
to get a muffin.
Muffins are fucking staple at breakfast, and it's got to be a little. I like mine a little toasted though with butter.
Gotta be toasted. Yeah,
Got to be toasted.
blueberry.
The best. I just wanted to show this real quick because we were talking about it earlier. Because I actually posted this prior to you posting, prior to you going to Pittsburgh, and it was funny because we literally were having this conversation, and then the quote unquote, oh, Nick's not going to be his best at New York because he didn't look good at guest posting. So this was 2015. We're going back 9 years ago. This is the 1 week, okay, before I competed at my second, or not my second, but my first time winning New York. And this was at Pittsburgh, and then that's at the show. And I was a little flat here too, but you could just see 1 week is very dramatic. I mean,
I feel like you
especially
almost look better at the guest posing.
I was way bigger. I mean, look,
Yeah.
and I was a little flat for this, but that's what people don't understand, the dramatic differences that can occur from
Dude,
one
your
week.
body, as you know, your body can change in like 2 minutes.
Exactly. And that's what's crazy. And like, I remember back in the day, you remember when Sean did that guest posing when he was really fat and he looked like shit?
Yeah.
And my argument was, listen, that it was bad. He was way out of shape, like way over the top out of shape to where he should have just said, "Hey, like, let me just talk to the." But my point was, what are you getting ready for? A guest posing or the Mr. Olympia? And Sean went on to fucking win the Olympia. So
I
it's like
know.
you can't crucify people at a guest posing for looking like shit. Now, people that have guest posings lined up, yeah, they should have a little fucking sense of like trying to be in somewhat decent condition, but
A little bit.
especially, but I feel like you get critiqued more closer to a show because people's had unrealistic expectations that have never competed before as to what you should look like a week out.
100%. That's yes.
How
Like
much?
I think everyone expected me to come out in that Pittsburgh like it was lights out.
Yes, like it was show
And
day.
yeah, and like that's not how this goes,
No,
you
not at all.
know. So, then and then, at New York, I had everyone saying like it's not your best. And at first that pissed me off, but then I'm also like, well, I still won. So if I lost at not my best, then I'm doing
Ever
all right,
then
you
at your
know?
best, everybody's even in bigger trouble.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, I wasn't at my best. I still won.
So I was front row. Um, I handed you the trophy, which was awesome. You fucking
Yes,
hugged
you
me,
did.
dirty
Yes, you
fuck.
did.
But I was front row, and I can say this. After the last time you competed on stage was at the Arnold Classic, and they said what? You did the
I
Arnold extended,
was too flat, conditioned, whatever you want to call it.
right? So then they said Nick brings a wow factor when Nick is Nick full,
Yeah,
right? And you were blasting full in New
I
York.
was.
And was Martin better? Martin was probably the best conditioned guy in the show, but you were just as good a condition as have I ever seen you and blasting full. So when you walked on stage, I was like, if this is what they wanted, to me, that's the wow factor, and that's what you brought to that stage. When you came
That's
out, you were to me. I'm like, just what you could have just walked on stage to me, and that's how good you look. Now, have I seen you harder? Yes, at the Arnold, but
yeah,
harder,
I
you
was hard
were
as
a
shit.
little flatter, and I prefer that look. I love that look. I
So do
love
I.
somebody's peeled. Now, could you argue that you were maybe a combination of those of the New York this year look and that Arnold look? You were a combination when you won the Arnold. I would say that was probably your best combo. And I
Yeah.
just feel like if you have that fullness and you're a little tighter at the Olympia, dude, it's going to be fucking, you're going to, I mean, I already think you're going to be battling for first, you know?
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Especially after, the Olympia TV, which was a fun experience. That was my first time. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
How did you? So I know you're not a guy to just take your shirt off and out of nowhere, and especially. So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
was it? How was it with with Derek and those guys? Because you look obviously you're much more in shape, but you fucking were you looked incredible next to them, man. Incredible.
I listen, I blew them away, bro. Like I was, I'll just say what it is. I blew them away. No, but Samson's big as fuck. Like
And you know what?
Samson's big as
Shout out to him because he actually today posted this, and I was actually I made a comment on it. I'm like, dude, that's all. Like I'm it was fucking cool to see. Because not everybody knows that I've said Samson was a dark horse. Like I've always loved Samson's physique. I think he's got, a tremendous amount of muscle. I love his posing. Um, but he posted a back double bicep today, and I was like, this is absolutely improved. Like I really thought I was like,
Oh,
this
he's
is
definitely improved it.
yeah. And it showed. I
I,
was
I
like,
feel
wow,
like
man.
I feel like I should get credit for saying he has no back.
How did I get to
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles? What the fuck
What
happened?
the fuck are you clicking, bro?
I, I don't know.
Now we're looking at Ninja Turtles.
It's not a bad thing to look at.
Are you trying to say Samson got a Ninja Turtle back?
Samson, I love you. Here it is, right here. I mean, listen, this is probably the best back
Yeah, it's
double
definitely
bicep I've seen
improved.
him because he's bringing in his back is getting wider through here.
You know what it is with him too, bro, is he's pissed.
Yeah,
He took a lot of shit for the Arnold,
yeah,
and I had a lot of talks with him. And listen, he's not used to the criticism. He's never had it.
yeah,
You gotta remember, Samson, he might be older, but he's fresh on the scene. You know what
yep.
I'm saying? So he
And
got that rise to the top and he rode it. And now, since he's there, you know what happens when you get to the top. They're
yep,
going to nitpick and
yep, everything.
criticize. And that's what happened. And he'll
Yeah,
even say he don't, he wish he handled things a little differently. But I also understand because I've been in that place where, I didn't handle things at best sometimes. But now you know what to expect. And all Samson, I even said this to him, multiple times. All Samson has to do is honest, just refine and come in peeled, and balance that fullness with his physique because he don't need any more size, man. Like he's
yeah.
good, he's good.
Why do you think? Like, well, first the comment on the on his age thing. That was kind of like Sean. Sean was the oldest Mr. Olympia. He was 43 when he won. Sean didn't
That's
start
crazy.
taking. Sean turned pro in 2009 at the North Americans. He was natural. A lot of people don't know that.
That's
That
insane.
that's why Sean looks the way he or looked the way he did. Excuse me. Um, when he was alive because his body was fresh. He wasn't pounding gear for years and years. He didn't start fucking taking PEDs till he was in his mid to late 30s, for Christ's sakes, which
It's
is
incredible.
insane.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as Samson, I mean, well, I'll ask you because it's happened to you. I've been a good bodybuilder. I've won shows, but
Yeah.
I've never been at the top. I sixth in the Olympia. Okay, I was sixth best in the world at one time. But when I say top, top three, I was never in the top threshold of bodybuilding. Why do you think, personally, for you, like you were talking about Samson and the criticism? I mean, for me, I mean, we talk about mindset a lot, and obviously, everybody has different mindsets, and I think my mindset's a lot different than a lot of people. But when you're going into being a bodybuilder, an athlete, or of anything, where you have the tools and the skill set to be one of the best, and you have shown that. Um, Going into being a bodybuilder as you were coming up and progressing, the critique was always there, and obviously, as somebody that watches any sort of a professional sport, that the people at the top always get a lot of criticism. People hate Tom Brady. He was one of the best to ever play football. Wouldn't you expect that at the top? Like, I get criticism now, and I'm a fucking washed up retired bodybuilder. Like, and I laugh, and I'm like, these people are ridiculous. But like, not, I feel like if I was somebody like you or Samson, in the top of my game, I would expect that, and I don't think it would let it really bother me the way some people do. Like, what's the
Well,
like?
okay, well, you also gotta understand when I first came on the like and my name was known, bro.
Yes,
Like, and I was 18, 19 years old. So no, I don't expect
I knew who you were when
yeah,
you were
I
an
don't
amateur.
expect criticism or hate. And when I first got it, I really didn't understand why because I felt like I was just a kid putting out content of me lifting heavy ass shit. Like I didn't know why I was being hated on. But as you get older, you realize the hatred comes from relevancy. Everybody wants to be relevant, and that's why people hate because now if you got a top known name that's going to start talking shit on somebody that's a top known bodybuilder, guess what? That motherfucker's now relevant because of what he said.
Yep.
And like it's like the blessing in me at New York Pro, right? Blessing is known, but he wasn't like nothing epic yet. And I was like a front runner going to New York. So what did he do? He started a fucking online battle with me, which was the smartest thing
Yep.
because no one saw that coming. And it stirred up crazy hype. And tickets were sold out for that in New York at the
Yep.
time.
Yep. And
So I just think when you're at the top now, it's just unfortunately negativity gets views. So they're just gonna nitpick every. I mean, nowadays people can know like if you're just being dumb, like okay, like that's stupid. But
yeah,
like me in the waist, I'll never. That'll be my nickname forever, basically. You know what I mean? I could come in. I feel like I could practice getting a vacuum, hit it on stage, and I'm like, oh, his obliques are still wide though. You know what I
Nick
mean? Like,
Nick the Waste Walker, Mister.
yeah. No, I feel like no matter what I do, that'll be like by my side for the rest of my career. It's I feel
Yeah,
like even if Samson come in peeled, some people are probably gonna be like, I wish he was a little
little
tighter.
harder. Yep, yep,
And it's like, listen, bro, like this was his fucking best. Like cut him some slack you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's just nothing, it's kind of like life, bro. Like
Well,
nothing's ever good enough.
yeah, or is it the fact that that it's more unexpected?
Oh yeah, it was definitely unexpected, but now he knows, right? Now Samson can expect it, and now he understands why people do it, and he knows what not to do. But he also knows that like you're not going to please everybody, which I
Yeah,
think is a major factor that we all need to put in our heads. Like
yep.
the only people you truly need to listen to when you're an athlete is your coach and judges' feedback. And the people in your corner that are going to shoot you straight and not blow smoke up your ass.
I tell
Those are the
everybody.
only people.
Yep, I tell everybody. I said I just had a conversation with a client this morning. I said, you ask 10 people their opinions about your physique, you're going to get 10 different answers. Don't do that because it just is going to upset
It's
you and
going to
make you
mess with your
confused
head.
big time. So, like one of the things that you and I talked about when we were talking about doing another podcast, when you were getting ready for New York, you said to me, you're like, I hate when we do the podcast and people take conversations and do YouTube videos and twist the words that I say in to fit their own agenda to make a story off of something that I never said.
Yeah,
And I think that's a huge problem. You know, we do these podcasts. First of all, one of my best friends, love having conversations with you. And we talk all the time, regardless of the podcast.
right.
And, you know, when I watch other YouTube videos or other people on social media take our conversations and put their twist on it and literally take our words out of context, out of meaning, and make it mean something that it doesn't, it's insane. And the most remarkable part is some people that watch another channel will actually believe that bullshit rather than coming and watching the episode and
That's what I'm
understanding
saying.
the
They'll
relevancy of it.
listen to
Yes,
somebody's 10-minute video about our video instead of actually watching our video.
because there's a lot that happened before. Like they're watching a clip in a moment in time, but it's like, okay, we might say like, oh, let's just say, Samson wasn't at his best or so and so wasn't at it. But if you don't know what we were talking about 5 minutes prior, how can you have substance as to understand what we meant in that moment? So
That shit
watch the
drives
whole
me
thing.
bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, why not just go watch the video for your like go? You can take for what it is and be like, oh, let me go watch it.
Yeah.
Instead, they'll watch whoever made the video, and now they're making a million comments, and it's like you just look dumb because you don't even know the whole thing.
Yeah. Now, so let me ask, how did Matt feel about your New York Pro look? Like, was like going into it, because obviously after pre-show, everybody's like, oh, it's close. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. And I was like, what? You don't
Yeah,
know. It's just in my eyes, I was right there. I was like, hey, this is pretty easy to me. Granted, and I keep Martin. I love Martin. Me and him, we're on the same team, part of Uprising. We were with Gas and Better Bodies for a while. Like Martin's a good dude. He's like just a crazy redneck motherfucker. But I thought it was pretty open and closed conversation. But as far as like Matt going into it, like when he saw you on stage, what did he think about what you're looking? Was he like, this is what I wanted? Like this was the package in my head that I
yeah.
wanted you to bring?
He was happy. He wanted, of course, it's always to come back to the night show tighter, and
Yep.
typically that's what we were told to do anyway. So that's just what we did.
Yeah.
We didn't panic, we didn't freak out. We're just like, yeah, let's go take a nap, and we'll
Wake
get
up
tighter
better.
for the night show. And that's exactly what they did. We were told we came back significantly tighter. So it's
The night before a show, well, let's just say New York. Well, I don't know if I want to just say New York. Is it obviously nothing's typical. Is it something you do? Would you go out normally and have like a burger and fry, or would
no,
you stay
never.
more okay, so you stay more so
Yeah.
cleaner foods?
The only type that there was only one time I think we did a shit meal, and I don't. It's not really shit, but it was my first New York. My last meal, he got me Chick-fil-A. He let me have Chick-fil-A before bed. But that was the last time. I mean, depending on my look before the last meal, it might be like a heavy meal, like carb meal, or it might be a little lighter, and more fats per se. It's just really going to depend on that look at that moment. But never like burger or anything. I don't think I've ever had a burger with Matt, to be honest.
Wow. So what give because I watch you eat. I mean, I was watching you eat when you were guest posing, and it just the amount of fucking food was just I'm like, my God. Like give just like you don't have to give like exacts, but what's an example of like a carb up day getting ready for a show? Like maybe not the day. Like what's a one? Like explain to people how much food you actually consume to fill
For
out.
New York, the day before, I mean, we were literally eating 400 to 450 grams of rice.
Really?
Yeah, which is about over 100 grams of carbs. Plus, anywhere from like 80 grams to 100 grams of banana, um, about 30 grams of peanut butter, and the protein would be small. It'd be like 120 grams or something.
So how many grams of carbs was it?
It was each meal was at least 150,
So you're doing
maybe more, depending.
I'm trying to think. So you're doing like 900 carbs.
Yeah, I'd say the day before, I'd say around that.
And how
Fats
now?
are, fats are incredibly high too.
How do you mitigate digestion? Like, do you take anything specific? Like, I like to for your digestion. Is there anything that you take specifically to help aid in that?
Um, I honestly no. I just at that point, I just feel like less pills the better.
Yeah.
At that point, you know what I mean?
Yep. I
So
always took a GDA when I was carbing up hard. Like even now, whenever I have my carbs up, I take that Glyco HD.
yeah,
Like that's those GDAs are very, I think like depending upon certain brands, but like the GDAs I think work great to
I
shuttle.
take all them throughout prep, of
Yep.
course. But for me, like, and it might just be me overthinking, but I rather just not take anything and just eat.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know?
Yep. Well, because anything you add to your body that's a foreign substance is, no matter what, going to cause some sort of cortisol response, right? Because
For
it's a foreign
sure.
substance, which is why, a lot of people here, I've said it before on podcasts, like, I stop a lot of things. 10 days out, I don't take any other, like, I won't take an injection. 7 days out, I won't take any orals. And I know people will run their orals up until the show, but for me, I just want to have the least cortisol responses in my body going on leading up to a show. So I know the least amount of cortisol, the less amount of stress, the less amount of water that I'm going to
Oh, it
hold,
makes sense for sure.
you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, dude, I thought you looked incredible and it was kind of cool because me and Juan were there, who both won New York Pro twice. And we walked out on stage and we handed you your second New York Pro, which was pretty cool. There's
Yeah,
6 New York Pro titles on that show at once.
I know. That was a cool moment for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
That was a cool moment.
I never thought about life after a bodybuilder. I never thought when, and I'm sure where you are right now, you're in the top of the sport, one of the best in the world, and you're kind of like you don't think what my life is going to be like when I'm retired, and I never really thought that until that gap was kind of slowly closing in, and I never thought I would have any emotion or care or I always thought I was going to have like the inability to want to be around the bodybuilding industry when I wasn't a bodybuilder anymore,
Right,
right?
right.
But I can honestly say, like, I like watching you win. I got all fucking choked up in tears. It just, I still am passionate about bodybuilding and, really watching my fucking friends do well. Like, even when we were at the show that you guys posed at when Joe was there, like, you saw, like, before, I was like, I get emotional. Like, I want to see my
But
fucking people do
ultimately,
well. And
guy,
it's
you're a fan of the sport.
love it. And I never thought I was that kind of fan until I retired, is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. You
That's because
know,
you're in it. You know what I mean? I don't think you really know how much passion you have for something until you take a step out.
yeah, and I do. I get excited for fucking, like what when you guys are on stage and watching you pose and do your poser routines and you know, um, I just want to touch on something really quick because I think it's important because you did say on stage publicly that this mentally was one of the hardest preps you've had. And a lot of people have been putting out videos about like Men's Mental Health Month, and I know
Yeah.
you moved, you came back home for this prep, back and forth. Matt was in Florida. There was a lot going on, appearances. Like, what was it? Was it more so what I think it was is more so the amount of stress you had on you and the amount of hype going into it, based on the fact that the last time you stepped on stage was supposed to be at the Olympia and you didn't. So that's kind of how I interpreted what your stress was, but I want you to just talk a little bit more because I think a lot of bodybuilders go through that mental stress and that anguish during a prep. And, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is because when you're dieting, you get very emotional and like you want to scream, you want to curse, you want to cry, you want to like you sometimes it's so emotional that people can't really reel it in and come to terms and really sit back and understand the emotions they're going through. So kind of when you said it was one of the hardest preps, I just wanted you to touch on it, just being that there's so much mental health talk with men this month, being that it's men's mental health months.
I mean, it was a lot. I mean, obviously my injury, um, the loss of my grandmother, the loss of my other grandmother, watching, I feel like my mom and dad suffer was really hard as a child, not I'm not a child, but as their son, and being
Yep.
in a different state. And when I say a different state, like I want to express. living in Nevada is a lot different than living in Florida. If that makes sense. It's a lot longer plane ride and it's a time difference out the ass. Where I just feel like Florida, it's one of those things where like you and you're there without any issues. You understand what I'm saying?
2.5
Um,
hours.
if that, honestly, my flight coming back down here was 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
that's literally quick.
and then, my injury, amongst other things, being alone, having to, deal with shit, announcing I was going to do New York. Um, and then after announcing it, realizing like, oh shit, like I don't even know if I'm ready for this,
When
mentally.
did you announce it? Really? Did you remember? I don't remember when you announced it.
Um,
How
it
far
was,
out
it
was it?
was like end of January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because once you
So,
announce it, you kind of like, you're
yeah, that
like,
was it.
yeah,
And I knew the headspace I was in. I knew the headspace my family was in, and I just thought it would have been a great idea to go home and, for lack of better words, suffer together
yeah,
and do this together and help each other together.
yep,
And I think that's why, the win just kind of meant more to me than most of my any other wins, because there was more meaning behind a lot of this
yeah.
that people just never got to see, or I never talked about, because I just feel like something shouldn't be talked about. Um, but that was really it. And it took a while for me to like get into that groove, my
Yeah.
normal mutant groove.
Yeah.
But once I did, I knew like, okay, like I'm gonna win this fucker. Like
Yeah.
it's my time. But it really, I didn't feel that way, honestly, till I was like 4 weeks out, to be honest.
How was it prepping at home with your parents from past? Because you probably haven't done
Woo!
that in a while. Because
Just like
so
old times, baby.
is it just like, because I can imagine me and my mother, it would
Me,
just be
me and
like
my
this.
mom just going button heads, baby.
Why? Okay. So I could call my mom right now and she'll tell you after my first show, I made it a habit to call my mom. And the day I started dieting, I'm like, hey, Ma, I'm starting dieting today. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you I'm sorry. And I love you for everything that's about to come out of my mouth in the next
That
60
don't
minutes.
work in my household.
Because, dude, for some reason, like, and it wasn't my dad, my mom would just
Yeah, bro.
always be the person that just yeah,
Yeah, bro.
like I'd be eating a
My mom
meal.
is the only one that knows how to like fucking
Yep.
fuck. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Poor Tracy.
Yeah.
Poor Tracy.
But I
But
but
like,
I also am the only one that can do it to her too. You have to understand, me and my mom are literally the same person. I'm just her times two,
yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And we love to debate. And our
She
debates just get loud sometimes.
and she likes to go, yeah, but she'll go, yeah, guy, but yeah,
No,
guy,
no, she
but
don't go like that. She goes, yeah, but you know, uh,
she hit you with the yeah, but yeah,
yep.
but
And I'm like, oh shit, here it goes. You started it. You started it.
do you allow your mom to help you prepare any of your food or cook your chicken or
No,
any of that? No.
no, not really. I usually cook it all. Well,
Yeah.
I also get mega fit, so there's not much to cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
My
know,
when I was living home, my first show, or my first show, or did I live home for my second one? No, it was my first one. And my mom was like, "Oh, you have chicken sitting." I was like, "Yeah, I have to make it when I get back from the gym." She's like, "Do you want me to make it for you?" I was like, "Ugh, Ma, I don't like chicken in the oven." My mom would like to put chicken in the oven. I like my chicken on the fucking grill
oven bake.
and in the oven. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So she's like, I was like, "Ma, I can't have anything on it." I'm like, "So if you're gonna bake it, you got to make it like as plain as possible." She's like, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." I come home. I could tell she put spices on it, but I don't care. But like, I have a very keen eye for like what my food looks like because I make it all the time.
Oh, you know when there's shit on that
And
food,
I
bro.
just looked at it and I go, "What'd you put on it?" She goes, "No, just little paprika, salt, pepper, some garlic, salt." And I was
See,
like,
I wouldn't eat it.
"No, that." I'm like, "What else?" She goes, "Nothing." I go, "What else?" She goes, "There's a little olive oil in it. It's not that much. It's not that big of a deal." And I'm like, "Ma." Like, I can't fucking eat it now. Like, I just, she's like,
But
why is it that big of a deal? I go, it probably isn't. But because I didn't see how much you put on, I don't
it's a
know
big
if it's
deal.
a lot more on one chicken breast than the other.
Yeah.
Baked it in the oven. It sat in it, which means it marinated in it, which means the chicken is not, has the fat content that I thought it had. I go, so no, enjoy your chicken that you just fucking
See,
cooked.
even with the things that you just listed before olive oil, I'd be like, I'm not eating it.
Oh, see, spices don't bother me. Like if I go out to a
Me,
place to eat,
see, I
doesn't.
like to do it all myself. It's not plain. If you didn't take the chicken, cook it, and then put it somewhere, I'm not eating it.
But if you're my, if I had chicken at my house and I go, Nick, it's salt, pepper, and
No,
you really,
I swear to God,
you wouldn't trust me.
no.
You're fucking gay. Cheers to Mental Health Month.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. Even in the off season, I am like, it's don't put nothing on my chicken.
Well, you see, when I order at the fucking restaurant, everybody's like,
Yeah. Well, because that's where I'm different. Like when I go out to eat, that's when I don't care because to me, I'm going out to eat to enjoy a meal now. I don't like my cheat meals to almost taste like my regular meals. I want that like satisfaction, you know?
agreed. However, I am not
I'm over the
bodybuilding.
top. I
No,
know.
well, I don't know, but I'm not. I was like that too when I was bodybuilding. I wouldn't go out to eat unless it was a cheat meal, which is why I'm not bodybuilding anymore. So I'm not going to carry my food with me like I used
Well,
to.
you don't need to. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when I go out to eat, if I don't, if it's like I only have one really cheat meal a week. So if I am at a place and I am like, I don't want my cheat meal yet. I don't want, like, I am either going all in on a cheat meal or I'm
Yeah.
staying fucking completely clean food. And if I go out, I want my food the way I fucking want it cooked if I'm paying for it. So like that's why if I
Exactly.
go out to a diner, I'm like, I want no oil, no butter. I want dry this, that. Like you saw
Yeah.
me, eggs, yogurt, berries, done. Simple. Like can't fuck
And I
that up.
and I and that's what I have learned to do because I it's funny, Matt actually taught me that. He's like, bro, you can go out to eat and eat clean. Like you don't gotta fucking eat like an asshole. But to me, like in my mind, I'm like, I eat so clean. If I'm going out to eat, I'm fucking eating.
Yep.
Like I'm appetizer, entree, dessert, all of it. I don't give a shit. And he's like, you don't you can just, get like steak and rice, bro.
You're like,
Like
no, that's no, 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 no. You're like, no, no.
and then
If I'm
I'm
going
like,
out, I'm going in.
he's like, you can order your shit with, plain, no salt, no oil. Like you can, and I'm like, no shit.
I can.
So now I started doing it, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is cool.
Yeah. Listen, I am much more um lenient in my food,
Wait,
meaning like I'll eat out every day, but I won't consider that cheating at all because I will make sure my shit is
yeah.
bland, dry.
Well,
Like
it's like even at the Raw event, I ate out every single day, but I made sure the food was to
clean.
my liking.
Yep.
And honestly, like I told you last time we spoke, I ended up losing weight,
Yeah.
and I feel
Yep.
like I ate just as much, if not more.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that event, so you and I just so happened to live in Jersey for like 6 months together, but only see each other at the Muscle and Grand opening in Florida.
yep, yep.
So we were both at the Raw Athletic Club grand opening, and that's Dom Dorian. That is also Vlad. I think Matt Jensen, uh, Chris
Chris
Bumstead, and I think is that it?
and you say Dom,
I think I said Dom.
Dom, yeah, Dom.
Yeah, and they opened up a great gym in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and I was there. It had 15,000. It has so the facility is 15,000 open space of gym floor, and then there's all this other space added onto it. So I think the facility is probably in the 30,000 square foot range
I
because
mean,
they have
they got a gym, they got the snack bar, they got a guy that cuts hair.
the
They're
upstairs
all the offices are upstairs. I believe their warehouse is in the back.
on both sides.
Yeah. I know they're getting like a room for like cold plunge and saunas. Matt's gonna have his section, for his agility shit.
Yep.
So it's a big ass gym, bro. Like it
Yeah.
truly is.
Yeah, I mean, I was there. You were there. We both trained. I mean, they got a lot of equipment. Obviously, they got a ton of new tech as well, just
Good
like
tech.
Muscle Inc., which is great. A lot of Atlantis, a lot of Prime, a lot of Hammer. I saw Cybex pieces there, Matrix pieces there. Because Dorian, also owns, a lot of people don't know, he owns a distribution company called Pure Muscle Athletics, which is where I get a lot of the stuff from my gym from. I utilize Dorian a lot. So anybody out there that's looking for any equipment, whether it's new tech, whether it doesn't matter to the brand. I mean, Dorian is a contact. I mean, you're talking rubber floors to dumbbells to anything. I
Yeah.
mean, Dorian helped my gym a ton in that aspect. So to the gym owners out there, if you guys are looking for anything, hit up Dorian. Or hit up Pure Muscle Athletics on Instagram. It's pretty cool. But yeah, man. I mean, I had a good workout there. It was crazy. There was a ton of people. He had vendors outside. They had
Yep.
seminars. They had the race on Sunday at the end, and it was just a cool time. A lot of people came out for it. Ton of people for Chris, obviously, and I congratulations to those guys because from what it looks like, that might not be the first and last one that they're opening. From what I'm hearing, they might
Yeah,
expand
I
in the
think I
future.
think
So
they're gonna expand it, but even that gym, I mean, even like the OG Revive, that I used to train out when I lived in Florida, they did so many upgrades to that one. Like even that one's badass. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like
yep.
you literally have like either or at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're both badass.
That one you're talking about, I like that. You walk in and it's just wide open on both.
Yeah,
It's almost like an L. It just goes like this.
that's it.
It's great.
That's it.
Um, Now I just want to give a huge Matt and Dom. I've been friends. I've known Matt since we were talking about it earlier today, since before you even knew who Matt was.
Yeah.
And watching Matt and Dom do their running, I was like messaging Dom over the past couple of days, and I'm like, hey, like I ordered a pair of Brooks shoes. Like, what heart monitor do you wear? Like, what's a good watch? I'm trying to like. Dom's kind of giving me things. I'm like, I don't bodybuilding. It was like going to the gym and
Yeah.
start working out and running. Like you can't just put on a pair. I tried it. I tried to just put on a pair of shoes like about a year ago and just go for a run. And I ended up an hour away from my house. And I was fucking like, I didn't track anything. I wasn't trying to like, there was no goal oriented. I was like, I'm just gonna run like Forrest Gump. And I was just fucking put on shoes and started running. But Dom is like actually giving me, I'm gonna start on Monday a program. Dom's giving me like things to do, how to set goals, like what mile markers to start at, because I don't know anything.
Right.
And I suck at running, or not that I suck. I have flat feet, so I get shin splints really bad. I never ran long distance, not something I'm good at. And I'm like, what can I do to challenge myself? Like, I need something that I'm not good at that I could turn around later on and go, you know what? I sucked at that and I got pretty good at it. And I'm
Yeah.
not good at running. Like, my cardio is great, but I just am not a good runner. So Dom, shout out to you. He's been helping me kind of get my running game in check. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that runs and then forgets about bodybuilding or working out, because that I won't do. That I refuse to do.
Don't do that.
That I
Don't do
can't
that.
do. And talking about when you were in Florida, you're in a white background right now. It does not look like Mama and Papa Walker's house.
Nah, we in the Sunshine
So,
State, boy.
so we are back
Back in
to
Florida.
Florida. So what what moment in time made that happen? Was that planned before the Raw Athletic Club event, or did you and Matt have like a
Yeah,
conversation while
me
you
and
were there?
Matt, I believe me and Matt talked about it actually at Pittsburgh. I was just like, yo, before we even did New York, we were both just like, you should do your Olympia prep in Florida. Let's do it together. And I'm like, okay, then after New York, we just kind of readdressed it. And then I messaged Dom if I could use one of his Airbnbs for the Olympia prep, and he said, yeah, it's yours. And here I am. I didn't fuck around.
I have to give you some of the most credit of anybody,
Well,
because it sometimes I think, and I've said it to you, it's a gift and a curse.
yeah,
you can be very impulsive, and which is a good sometimes and not so good. But for you, your ableness to just say, yeah, like, bro, if I had a like like for your ability to just pick up your life and just fucking fly and just like, I mean,
It's
we were
funny
in
you say that because like I'm also the guy that hates to be out of a routine.
yeah, like you flew your whole life from Jersey to Florida, and then didn't you go to another side of Florida, right?
Tampa, yeah.
You went to Tampa, and then you went to Vegas, then went to Jersey, and went back to full. Like I'm like, he's nuts. Like he's fucking crazy. Like I don't know. Like kudos to you because I think it's fucking awesome that you're able to do that. I'm just like, man, I get anxiety of thinking of packing a suitcase to leave for a vacation. I go, this motherfucker's out for months. Like I'm out.
I'm
Like
out.
I'm like,
And well, it's funny you say that because like when I do those things, I get excited for it. But then if you ask me to, travel somewhere, I
Nick, come
lose
here
my
and train for a day.
fucking
No, I
mind.
don't do that. No, I don't do
Yeah,
that.
I
Nah,
go fucking crazy.
what the
I
fuck?
I think it's I also think it's because what I know is going to happen, right? Like I knew coming here, it's Olympia prep. This is what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
focused. There's no like even when I moved to Vegas, when I was like 8 weeks out from Olympia, it's like I'm where the Olympia is. I'm here to focus. I'm already in a routine. We're done. I'm staying. I ain't going nowhere. And I
So
really stayed and didn't go anywhere.
so if I ever wanted you to stay in Jersey, I just got to tell the Olympia committee to just have the Olympia in like Atlantic City or somewhere in Jersey for the remainder
Well,
of your career.
I don't know, man. Jersey's too dark.
Oh, here we go. You motherfucker, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you something about you right now. Okay.
Bro.
You were fucking loving Vegas and you came back to Jersey and said, man, might look at a house. I really like in Jersey again.
Well,
And
because I was gonna do it for family. I want to be close to the family. You know that. But then, living in Jersey, I'm like, I really don't like it here.
is it? Is it the fast paced moving, the attitude, the aggressiveness of
No,
people?
because
Like,
the attitude, I cherish that shit. Vegas, because in Vegas, it ain't no,
are they a
no.
little softer out there?
Yeah, Florida, it's still east, in my opinion, so people can handle all the bullshit.
Yeah.
But you go west, nah, man. Mm-mm.
West Florida?
Uh,
Are you talking about West Coast?
just West Coast, West
Oh, okay.
Coast.
I didn't know if
Yeah.
you're talking like West Florida, like Tampa. I didn't know if that's what you meant. Like West
No,
East
like on the
Coast.
the west side, bro, West Coast, they can't, they
We
ain't
we
ready
really are a different breed in the Northeast, huh?
because we don't give a fuck. And the thing it's true because like, even people in Vegas, right? Like like people, that would compete. They'd come up to me,
Yeah.
show me their pictures, and they're like, "What do you think? I got third or I got fourth, and I think I beat this guy, or I think I should have won." So I'll look, and I'll be like, "Look, man, like."
I think you
You look
shouldn't have shown
soft.
me these.
I'm like, you look soft. You look shitty. You should have been tighter. And they're like, excuse me. So, and I'm like,
You
okay.
asked.
I'm like, we're not going down this road. Like, we're not doing this. I'm like, if you can't handle criticism, then like, go get your fucking fanboys blowing smoke up your ass because I ain't one of them. You
Dude, why
know?
do why do people ask for opinions and then get mad that they don't get the opinion that they thought you were going to get? That's like big time. Not listen, you could say that about life, but in bodybuilding, dude, it happens all the time, right? Like
Well, I
I've
also think
I
I got it. I got it from my mom though because she don't know how to be like nice when it comes to criticism. Like she really doesn't.
she
You know,
just
and I tell this story all the time because it shows like how where I get it from, but also
yeah.
like how thick skin I got.
Yeah.
It was after the North Americans, in 2017 when I looked awful. And dude, like right after prejudging, we're just walking back to the hotel room. It is quiet as shit. No one's talking because we all know the deal. And she's just like, Nick, you look like shit. And I'm like,
Could have
not like
waited till tomorrow. Could
right,
have
not like
waited.
Nick. I don't think this is your best. Like we need to figure like you look like shit.
You're off.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
I'm sure that
I'm
went over
like,
real well.
I'm like, I just got off stage about 10 minutes ago. I get it. I don't.
What was the worst bodybuilding moment with you and your? I know because I know mine with my parents. Is there one? There was one moment at the Olympia where I lost my fucking shit on my parents. Like, is there one time like at a show where you just or just in a prep where you just like obviously we all bicker with our parents, me and my mom butt heads, but was there like one that stands out where you're like, I snapped? Because there's one, I'll tell you, after you answered that I snapped.
Um, not
Really?
no, there's not one because I could like honestly, bro, I could name like a
Well,
list. To
what's
be
the first
honest.
one that came to your head?
Um, honestly, it's always that North Americans one.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
Did you
Because
guys,
that,
did you
because you know what it is for me? Because I think that was also a moment that kind of took me by surprise. Like, because I just
surprise? You look like shit.
I expect criticism from my mother. Like you know, but I figured she would have waited, or maybe at the time, like when
Ease
I
into it.
could say something a little nicer. You know, nah, man, she just took the heart and
And
put it
she's
right
not
on the
even,
ground.
she didn't even warm up to you. She was just fucking
You look
full.
like shit, bro. And I'm like,
There was one, so you know, at the Olympia in Vegas, you've, yeah, well, it wasn't at the Orleans, but because you never competed in Orleans, right?
no,
Okay,
no.
so you know, after the Olympia, they do the gala.
Yep.
Okay, like where you got to, when everybody gets dressed up and you go and you have dinner and
Yeah,
fucking.
I've been
Okay,
to the gala.
so I was with my parents and I needed to get changed and then head over to the. So what I did was I went and showered, grabbed my stuff, went back, and I was going over to my parents' room in the Orleans to get changed and then head
Right.
over to the gala. So I have all my shit with me. Okay, all my I have my suit, my shoes. I'm in shorts. I ran back to my hotel. I showered real quick, grabbed my stuff, and I shot back over because I didn't want to rush. And you know, after a show, like even if you start like sweating like a maniac.
Yeah, it's gross.
So I didn't want to do that. So I went back, I showered, I grabbed my stuff, I came back from in New Orleans. The gala was going on, knocking on the fucking door, knocking on the door. Ain't nobody answering. Bro, I left my suit, my shoes, everything in New Orleans at their front door, walked all the way to the fucking gala. And if you don't know where it is, it was not close. It was probably a 10-15 minute walk inside the Orleans to
I
get to the fucking
know.
gala.
Well,
Okay.
even with the last Olympia I went to, or not this one, the one prior, I took third. Like it was the gala was far away, man.
Dude, I get to the gala, they're nowhere to be found. I fucking go all the way back to the hotel room, knock on the door again. But I'm calling them. No, they're not picking up their fucking phones. Finally, I go back to the fucking hotel room. I fucking call them again, knock on the door, not answering. I grab my shit and then I fucking leave. And I go back to my fucking hotel room. Dude, my fucking mom calls me. Where are you? I go, what? Where am I? I said, I have been
I'm looking
fucking
for you.
calling you both for 40 fucking 5 minutes. And I have all my shit. They, both of them, walked. They were, I don't, aimlessly walking inside the Orleans to the gala. I don't know if I passed them. Neither one of them brought their fucking cell phones with them. So I had no way to get in contact with them. So I'm in the Orleans running all over the place. They got their cell phones in the fucking hotel room, not on that. Dude, I fucking just lost because it was at a point where like I didn't, and after you do well, that also fucking affects how you did. And I think I got like seventh or eighth, and I was ripping pissed.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like newly divorced too. And I was just like all this fucking emotion. And I was just,
And you just lost it. I know that feeling.
you know,
Oh yeah. Oh
uh,
yeah.
so you being closer to Matt, I just wanted to ask, what does that just bring you a sense of calmness because he's close and it's easier
Yes.
to look at you and make adjustments and
Yeah, and also like I'm sure people know, like Matt's like one of my best friends, like you. You know, it's just kind of one of those things where like we have that relationship outside of bodybuilding. So like, yeah, he's the
Yeah.
coach, he's in charge, he runs the show, but we also just hang out and kick it.
Yeah.
So, and I also think that creates a better coaching client relationship at the end of
Yeah.
the day,
Yeah.
because you guys just have that bond, right? We have that trust, and it is what it is.
I agree. And that relationship will last forever. Like me and
Because
Aceto.
I also know Matt truly cares about Nick and not the mutant. You know what I mean? And I know when the bodybuilding scene's done, like we're all still going to be hanging out and having fun.
If there's one thing I know about Matt, he could have one guy in the show or five guys in the show. He's an equal opportunist. He gives everybody equal time, equal attention. And just because somebody won, well, let's say that he's got five guys in the show, one guy wins, one guy takes sixth. He will celebrate with the guy that took first, but that guy that took sixth, that will eat at him because that guy didn't do well. Because Matt is that
100%.
passionate about his fucking people and his
And
clients.
I can attest to that
And I've seen
100%.
it for firsthand. So I think Matt is a great coach, and he's got a fucking he's got great coach and a huge heart.
Yes.
And a lot of people take the guy. Matt's a quieter guy. He's not fucking. He doesn't talk a lot and like fucking post all this stuff. And
He's
some
barely on social media for
that's what I'm
fuck's sake.
saying. And people will take somebody being quiet as like a certain way. And people used to think Branch was a certain way because he was quiet. And I'm like, you guys do not know him at all to say that he's a dick or he comes across like an asshole because he's quiet. Because if you actually
Exactly.
knew the guy, you would be like, he's a fucking this guy doesn't
Cool.
shut up.
He's cool as fuck.
Branch is one of the fucking best, dude.
I
Um,
like Butch a lot. Yeah.
so the next, how many weeks out are you now?
17.
Yeah, okay.
17.
So what? No, I know the goal. I'm trying to what is the game plan, right? You're so lean right now, and you're literally almost to the point where you're dialed in for a show. So, and you're 17 weeks out. You're not further enough to have a crazy off season or a month and then pull back. So, how does Matt gauge you when you're so close to the stage and you got so far to go? Is it like just a day by day? Do you guys do
Yeah, I
changes?
mean, I gotta update him tomorrow, actually, Fridays. But
So how
it's
often now do you do it? Is it
right now it's just Fridays, and then it'll
okay?
turn into like 2 days a week, and then it kind of turns into every day.
Gotcha.
Um, but right now we're just increasing calories very slowly, managing, training fatigue, cardio fatigue, whatever you want to call it, and just literally taking it day by day. That's really what it is.
I've never worked with Matt on a in bodybuilding. How is he does he receptive to feedback? Because I know a lot of
Yes.
clients will give you feedback, but like sometimes you got to question the
And I
client
and,
because
and
you
again, I think that is also because of the relationship me and have built. He knows if I have an issue with something or if I don't like something, it's obviously for a reason, right?
yeah,
So he accepts my feedback very strongly, and sometimes I give him my opinions on shit, and he'll be like, "Nah, I don't like it." You know what I
yeah,
mean? But that's we combined everything and come to like that middle ground, whatever it may be. He handles my feedback, I handle his, and then we meet in the middle if we don't agree on something. If that, which normally doesn't happen, but if that was to happen, we figure it out. Because yeah, you do. I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but there are some clients that will maybe give some feedback, and it's like you gotta toughen up, bro. Like just shut the fuck up, but he knows me, and he has other clients that know, that we train hard, we diet hard.
yep,
If something is happening, yes, he's very receptive to feedback. He makes the changes that are needed, and I think that's also something that separates him. Because I know a lot of coaches out there. It's like do as I say, and that's it. That there's
yep,
no, you know what I mean. So
yeah.
if he feels the need that like something needs to change drastically, really fast, he does it without any hesitation.
And I'm going to say this too, from a bodybuilder and a client and also a coach standpoint. It is your obligation as a client of a coach to give them feedback, any necessary feedback to a coach, whether it's Hey, I've done this and looked like this. Hey, I've done this and looked like this. Hey, this is what I ate. Fucking it. Like, this is what this coach had me do. This didn't digest it with me. I couldn't feel my pump in the gym today. I feel blasting full. I feel flat. Like, you need, as a bodybuilder, if you're not providing your coach, right, with feedback, you are, you are making him in a disadvantage, and you're making yourself at a disadvantage, because if there are things and tracks that I can cover without get second guessing it and trial and
Yes.
error, because I know they either work or didn't work.
Yes.
As a coach, I expect it's your obligation to fucking tell me that,
Right. I
because
agree.
we're not mind readers,
I agree.
and people will a lot of times hold information that is vital to somebody's prep or their look or how their digestion is, or maybe if they're, if they have high aldosterone, or they're, something with sodium, or like it just
It's
carbs, or it's
just
just,
speak up.
you
Just speak
have
up.
to, and I think a lot of people get nervous to like,
No, you can't
should I
though.
raise my hand?
Just well, 'cause they want to please. They want to please the coach. They want to. They
Fuck
want to please
that.
that guy. Yeah.
The
If
coach
there's
isn't
a
the one on stage.
if there's a problem, just address it.
Yes. Very simple.
It's
Speak
not
up.
hard. It's really not.
you know and I think a lot of times things get lost in translation with coaches. I think clients get nervous to speak up to coaches, because but at the end of the day, it's your body. You're going on stage and you're paying the coach. Like,
Yep.
it's give feedback, and as anybody out there that has that's a client that works with a coach, it is your duty and obligation as the person that is being coached to give feedback based on what it is you're doing, because nobody understands how you feel, what you're going on inside your body, how everything's going. You have to provide that. And
I agree.
I just feel like some people, even when they're asked, they just close up and they're just like, "Oh yeah, everything's good. It's good. No complaints." And then
Yep.
meanwhile, they could be bloated, gassy, fucking no pumps in the gym, energy low, fucking no sex drive. It could be a ton of different things going on, from fucking fake gear to wrong foods to high inflammation markers.
Yep.
It's just wild to hear that these clients don't give feedback. Um, so going into the Olympia, what what is the goal? Is it the New York look just tightened up a little bit because you were blasting full? Is it, do you want to go
I
eat?
don't. I don't think we have a specific look at this point. We're just here to bring our best. I don't want to say I want to bring this. I just want to come in peeled as best as we can and come in as full as we can. And whatever that looks like is what it's going to look like.
What was your weight at guest posing in Pittsburgh versus your weight in New York versus your weight at the guest posing after?
One more time. What the fuck did you say?
What was your weight when you guest posed at Pittsburgh
Oh, I
versus what it
was.
was at New York versus what it was at the last guest posing you did?
I think at Pittsburgh I was 266. On at New York I was my lightest, which was at finals. I was 257.
Wow.
And then at the guest posing in for Atlantic States, I was 264.
And your Arnold Classic where you won?
I don't remember. If I had to take a guess, that was 240s.
And the one that you took second?
240s.
Okay. So
That one specifically, actually, I was 248.
so I'm guessing you can't be in the 240s to be at your best, is what we decided here.
No, like let's just say I was 257, right? And everyone says, "Oh, you can be tighter." I could probably push to say, let's just.
254.
I was gonna say 254,
Yeah.
and
Because
that that probably would have been my biggest look too.
because see, with that amount of weight that you just described, that's water with no muscle tissue. Anything more than 3 pounds
Yeah,
that you had on you, you're going to be
yeah.
atrophying muscle, because you didn't have that much to pull
No,
anymore.
exactly.
You know?
So it was just water, honestly.
Yeah, dude. I'm super excited. I think this Olympia is gonna be your year, man. You've had a lot of fucking cool, good things and positive
Yeah,
things happening,
I'm
and it's
excited.
it's awesome. I'm super excited for you.
Hell yeah.
So I will be in Florida next week in Boca for that chiseled event.
You're gonna
That
drive down
how far is Boca to you? 3
an
hours?
hour.
Oh,
Only
that's
an
it.
hour. Yeah,
Oh
bro.
yeah, dude. I'll definitely.
Because
I'll come to the
when I
gym.
used to live in Stewart, I used to drive like 45 minutes, 50 minutes tops to
Okay.
Redcon, and that's in Boca.
Oh, awesome. So
Yeah.
then I'm not gonna be far from you. So then I'll try to link up with you when I'm there. That'll be great. I haven't seen you in fucking
That's next weekend?
yeah, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Is that next weekend?
Yeah, just let me know.
Yep. I leave Friday. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
So the fans wanted to know since once this gets released, we already know what's gonna happen. Are you guys gonna be doing them every week again? You guys gonna be doing it every
I'm gonna try my hardest to do it once a week.
just so everybody knows, there was a lot going on with Nick between moving and this and then
Yeah. It
appearances, and then
was.
I was all over the place. I had stuff going on, so
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
I'll take more of the fault for this time gap. Even though we were both traveling quite a bit, I'll take majority of the hit on this one.
because I was every other day
Bro, you
podcast.
would text me literally every day. Podcast today? Nah, I got this going on.
I'm like, I can't catch a break with this kid.
I'm like, I gotta do this today. Let me think about it.
We're 17 weeks out. So I will try to get you guys. He's 17 weeks out. I give him one for free. So let's say we'll try to get up to the New York Pro or up to the Mr. Olympia. I will try to get 15 to 16 episodes out of this guy to give you guys one a week. Maybe if he's feeling, sometimes he gets a little fresh, a little pep in his step, and he's like, we've done that. We did two podcasts in a week, one time.
I know.
One time. So if you guys are lucky, you might get another episode. But be sure to follow along, like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you guys want to see. We're going to be doing episodes on the regular. Listen,
Should we try? Should we try and do them every Thursday? Does this work?
Thursday's my off day, so I'm good.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I will say this. One thing I have to say.
Did you train today?
Hold on. I trained today because my buddy Dave, who rest in peace, he lost his mother right before Mother's Day, and he wasn't able to come to my grand opening because he was, long story, but right. He hasn't been to my gym since it's been all together. So he was like, dude, can we go? I was planning on going to the gym today anyway. He's like, dude, I really want to go. Can we train arms? And I'm like, I really don't train on Thursdays. He's like, come on, bro. And I was like, all right. We train. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, Thursdays work for me. Not a problem. But I have to say this because the one thing I noticed, when you have a podcast, the people that do it consistently, like, listen, Fuad puts out podcasts after to do it that often and to be on top of it with like getting it edited and getting it up and the thumbnails. It's not easy for me to do one a week with you. It's hard. It is like anybody that does this consistently. I gotta say, man, the people that pump out the content, that's why their channels, grow. But it is a job to do it every week and get it out and get it posted. However, for those social media people that are following me, do not think that I think that social media is that hard or a job. I'm saying doing this on top of everything else is very difficult, but kudos to the guys that are able to put them out that often because it's not easy and it's very time consuming. And I learned through this gap how hard having your own podcast is because when you don't do it and you start to like lose traction, you're like, you start scrambling, getting nervous and all fucking flustered. And then I finally got to the point I was like, you know what? We'll put out a podcast once he's ready and then we'll get rock and rolling again. And I can't let it stress me out and people will understand. But I know once this goes out, people are going to be like, another one and another one and another one.
I know.
So
we'll say it now. We'll do it Thursdays about 6 p.m.
Thursdays, 6 p.m. coming at you from now on for the next 16 weeks because we're going to give them one freebie for 17 for the Mr. Olympia. Mutant in the Mouth. Myself, my best friend, my boy Nick Walker, the Mutant. Like, comment, subscribe. Coming at you guys. Appreciate y'all. Peace.